Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Woo! How's it going, guys? It's Wednesday. Wednesday, one of the toughest days of the week. One of the toughest days of the week. You know, everybody says Monday's the hard day, but Wednesday, it's like, it's the hump, man. You got to get up over it. You got to get up over it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And we have a big show. We have a show. I shouldn't say we have a big show. We've got a show tonight. Some topics to cover. We're going to watch Ronnie O'Neal cross-examine his son at some point here. That'll be interesting, I think. We've got the based Utah Assistant Attorney General, and we've got, you know, some other stuff we can talk about. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, we can do that too. Oh yeah, I have a big announcement, but it's gonna have to wait a little bit. It's gonna have to wait a little bit because I don't want to announce it like 10 times. So I want to let people filter in for the show. And, you know, I want to make sure we've got a bunch of people in here for the announcement. The announcement has nothing to do with Vic's lawsuit. So I want to shut that down pretty quickly. People think, again, lawsuit news would have to come out on a Thursday. So that would be tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is the last Thursday before 9 months has passed since the submission of the appeal was accepted by the appeals court. That was September 22nd. So that means June 22nd is the, I have a hair loose. I know it's the, what you call it? The fan keeps blowing it over. June 22nd will be 9 months. So that would be tomorrow. Would be the last day before that 9-month deadline. Now, where that 9 month, I shouldn't say deadline, guideline. Let me reiterate. The Texas Court of Appeals, the Second Court of Appeals in specific, have a set of guidelines on how they deal with cases. Now, this goes like this. The opinion, the main opinion of the case will be written and internally distributed within 180 days, 6 months of the decision, or of the submission, I should say. They take everything on submission. They talked about it allegedly at some point because they did not have oral argument. So they took it on papers, reviewed the papers, make their decision. Then whichever judge is writing the decision for the court writes the decision. They have 6 months to put that decision together. Okay. Then that decision is circulated, and the dissent, if there is a dissent, would have an additional 90 days to put together their dissent drafts, circulate them, have any corrections made. And that brings us to 9 months of time that they give themselves to have a decision, and that's with a dissent. That's under a normal timeline. So that's where the 9 month becomes complicated because I don't know if you know this, but last year has been plagued with COVID, which means that courts have not been operating under the same sort of schedules. They've been developing backlogs. Things have not been flowing into and out of the courtroom at the same speed. So with that, that 9-month timeline goes out the window. It goes out the window, and there's no guarantee that that'll happen. There never really was a guarantee. They can already take longer, or they can go shorter. They obviously haven't gone shorter, but with COVID, it makes it doubly confused. So that's kind of the idea that you have to have about this. The court, there's no one to enforce the deadline on the court. There's no penalty or remedy if the court takes longer or anything like that. So it's just a guideline that they give themselves. And that's where, you know, when I was first talking about how long it could take, I wanted people to understand that it could really take a significant amount of time. In fact, their regular rules give them up to 9 months to go ahead and take care of this stuff. So it would be a serendipitous day to have it come out tomorrow, because that would be the last day before the 9 months. But there's no guarantee it will. There's no guarantee that it will. And so it's, you know, we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. So, anyway, so the big news is not about Vic's appeal case. That is not it. So that will come a little bit later in the show. I have booked a special guest for Father's Day, but not on Father's Day, if this makes sense. I will be in some way. I'm not sure where yet. I'm not sure if I'll do it here. I'm not sure if I'll do it on locals. I have not decided. But I will be interviewing my dad for Father's Day, except my dad won't be around on Father's Day. He said he's going to the store to get cigarettes or something. I don't know. So I'll have to do it after that, maybe when he comes back. I'm just kidding. He'll be around sometime next week, and so we'll figure that out. But yeah, so my there's a little mini F there. My dad will be doing a Father's Day show with me, but not on Father's Day. So that'll be interesting, I think. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want to subject him to I don't know if I want to subject him to any of this stuff. The poor man is innocent. The poor man is innocent. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how to do that, but it'll either be, you know, here, or it'll be done well, it'll probably be on YouTube in some way, but it may be reserved for local subscribers. Local/YouTube members. I haven't decided exactly how to do it yet. We'll see. We will see. Yes, I really can't wait for the chat to make me ask my dad about Futanari. That sounds really fun. He has no idea what you're talking about. So there's that. What else is going on in the world? There are a couple chats to get to here at the beginning. Oh, I gotta pull up the Streamlabs chat. I gotta make sure the Streamlabs chat is there. Reminder that the Streamlabs has changed to Ricada Media for undisclosed reasons. As in, they have not been disclosed to me. Also, my friend Doug TenNapel has been yeeted off of YouTube as well. Again. So that sucks. Hopefully Doug is able to find his feet. I have no idea why. But YouTube really does not like him. Q wasn't deleted. Wait, Q also? No. Holy shit. Yeah, Q is gone. Behizi looks like he's gone too. Wow. Nick Mosader's still around, so he must have tread the line a little bit more carefully. But, holy shit. Man. That's nasty stuff. So here's just a little exposition on that. Little exposition on that. Oh, what's up, Raging Golden Eagle Raid? Happy to have you guys here, of course, as always. As always. So this is the tough part, right? In an ideal world, we could all speak what we say. There's an article about Doug and Q on Media Matters, huh? Jesus, let's take a look at that. Media Matters is, of course, trash. Here it is. This is the part of trying to do serious topics on YouTube that gets really frustrating. So, what some people don't realize is, like, when I do an audit video, was Q gaining YouTube traction? Yeah. Q had 140,000 subscribers. He was averaging 200 to 500,000 views a day. Yeah, Q he had some YouTube traction. So here's the thing. When we cover, when I cover like an audit, for example, when I cover the audit, I have to say mitigating things very specifically. The audit cannot and will not overturn the election. Not only is that my opinion, but it's also the stated opinion of every Republican who has any power over any of the audits. None of them in the lawsuits, none of them in their Senate resolutions, none of them in their organization of the audit have any aims to overturn the 2020 election. And so when we say that, when I say that, people accuse me of whatever, of capitulating, of what. It's like, well, that's the reported truth. I can't, whatever they may have other, ideas or whatever, they don't voice them publicly, so we can't talk about that. And when we do speak the truth or whatever, and not be afraid of it, YouTube just removes you. And it's so frustrating that that people want to pull like a no true Scotsman fallacy. They want to say you're not going hard enough, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And then it's like, you don't understand. If we were to express these views, that's what happens. You're gone. You're gone. And so what we have to do is just give you, on these types of issues, as much factually sound reports as we possibly can. Because YouTube will throw you off if you try and speculate on something that goes against the message. And the YouTube has a very clear terms of service guideline about the election and the integrity of the election. They have that. And if the audience keeps demanding that people go against the guidelines so far on the platforms that they're on, they won't have a platform. And that's an okay thing in theory because there are other platforms. But let me tell you the reality of the other platforms. No one ever shows up. No one ever shows up. So you can't sustain a business model on the other platforms, which means you can't do as much content. You can't do it in the same way. You can't do it. So that's the frustrating part. Believe me, if Odyssey had the distribution of YouTube, I'd Thanos snap YouTube out of there. I'd be full-time on Odyssey if you could get the message out, if you could sustain the show by just doing it on Odyssey or Rumble or wherever. Sure, but you can't sustain it. So it's frustrating. I got 2,000 subs on Odyssey, and I love my Odyssey viewers. I would prefer everybody to watch my short videos on Odyssey. I mean, I like having them watched on YouTube, don't get me wrong, but I would prefer to see the Odyssey platform grow, and if I can contribute to that, I want people to do that. I really do. But it's a mess. And so for now, until competitors become viable, and frankly, until they can support the business model of the creators that YouTube's able to support or Twitch is able to support, they're always going to be a step behind, because people, when they open their phone, and I'm not talking about you guys, live chat audiences are way, way different, by the way, than consumable video audiences. Trust me. I've done some market research on this. Live chat audiences are way different. They are way more bound to the creators that they like. They follow them. They help them out. They do the things to make it work for the creators, and that is awesome. The consumable content audiences do not. They pull up their phone, they open YouTube, and they go, what can I learn about the audit today? And that's it. And they may be following a particular person. They may get kind of in the habit of watching their videos. And then what really happens, though, is YouTube feeds that person's videos to the same people over and over and over again. Like that, whether you subscribe or not. That's the algorithmic ad delivery service that YouTube has developed. They go, oh, they want to watch Q from Out of the Darkness. What they really want is Maricopa News, and they watch like 3 videos from Q about Maricopa News, so they're going, oh, okay, well, we can deliver Maricopa News and other Q videos straight to this person. They're going to consume them every single time. That's how that content delivery works on it. So let's take a look at this. This is the silent killer. It's the Media Matters. It's the Washington Post. It's an article with what? I wonder how many comments we even have. Oh man, they did them dirty. They did them dirty. Let's see, how many comments do we have? 0 shares, 96 comments. When I say this is the silent killer, this is the silent killer because nobody watches Media Matters. Nobody cares what they have to say except the industries. They're basically a trade publication. And that trade publication here, or one-off article on the Washington Post, those are the things that kill channels. That's what happened to Streamlabs for a lot of alt-right, broadcasters across, YouTube, DLive, wherever. The Streamlabs got taken down because Washington Post article said, no. They said mean words. They said mean words. So, here's what these articles look like. YouTube has become the epicenter of fraudulent election audit advocacy, even though this content seems to violate the platform's election misinformation guidelines. 15 right-wing YouTube channels are spreading videos that promote the Arizona audit and sometimes advocate for more such audits in other states in a push to justify the illegitimate process. The problem is, by all accounts, the Arizona audit is fully legitimate. It was passed by the Arizona Senate. It was fought for and awarded by a judge. Same thing in Georgia. These are not illegitimate. The question is, what is their purpose? What are they for? What can they do? That's where the questions actually lie. But illegitimate, you don't have to like the audits. You can think that they're a scourge on democracy, like Liz Cheney does, for example, but they aren't illegitimate. Now, you can't illegitimately audit something because you have to get access to the data to audit it. By housing this extremist election misinformation, which is reliant on the debunked claim that the 2020 election was stolen, an idea that led to the January 6th Capitol insurrection, YouTube has become complicit in its rapid spread. Some of these videos also run ads, meaning both the creator and YouTube are benefiting financially. Arizona is conducting an audit of ballots in Maricopa County in an attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. This is actually a complete lie. Karen Fan has said this will not and cannot overturn the election results. That's what she has said over and over. She is the Senate Majority Leader for the GOP in Arizona. She is the one in charge of the audit. They have said nothing about the possibility of overturning the election results other than this cannot do it. So here, Media Matters is actually lying about this claim. Lying about it right now. The Arizona audit is rooted in baseless conspiracy theories about the outcome of the presidential election that spark interest in similar efforts in other states, including Michigan, Georgia, and New Hampshire. There are at least 15 active YouTube channels that are sharing videos and live streams with updates on the right-wing push for election audits, sometimes relying on right-wing media sources known for spreading misinformation. This content appears to violate the election misinformation policy, which prohibits content that advances false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches change the outcome of any past U.S. presidential election. Again, something I talk about all the time. We don't have evidence of that. They may be attempting to find some evidence of that, but even if they were to find it, there's not a legal mechanism in place right now to remove Joe Biden and reinstate Donald Trump. It's not going to happen in any way that we would know of. And when Sidney Powell said that the other day, frankly, she was incorrect. There is not a way to do it. And she was called out by Jenna Ellis, and rightly so. Now, there's always some way to do it, but you're talking about creating a constitutional amendment or something like that. No matter what you think about how that should play out, there isn't a legal structure to do it. In April and May, these channels repeatedly post such videos, sometimes multiple times a day, with channel figures often cross-promoting one another via guest appearances. They thus built audiences around providing misleading news about state audits that will supposedly install former President Donald Trump back in the office in the near future. Now, I don't know. I have not watched Q and Doug's election stuff. I don't know if they ever said that that was a possibility. I have been pretty clear. I have been pretty clear that that is not a legal reality on this show. It would have to be outside of the established processes that we have. So, and that when you say, well, it could be something, well, sure, a meteor could wipe out every Democrat in Congress, and then suddenly the Republicans could impeach Joe Biden or something silly like that could sure happen. But we're talking about existing structures here. There isn't anything. Occasionally, these channels post specific calls to action, such as when right-wing users were advocating and fundraising for fellow conspiracy theorists Jovan Pulitzer. The Arizona audit is also serving as a blueprint for a larger audit movement. So here we go. Here we've got the YouTube channel spreading lies about the 2020 election. Beheezy. Done. Done. Last 30 days, 6.3 million views, 210,000. Guys, these guys were making an absolute fortune on this stuff. An absolute fortune. So here's Beheezy started talking about election stuff. Bam. Bam. Here's his views and subscriber numbers flying up on the daily. On the daily. And they notice they cut off the income estimates from the table. They cut off the income estimates. Out of the darkness. 111,000 subscribers as of May 21st. I checked him just the other day. He was at 140. So that's to show you how rapid this has been going. He had gained another 30,000 subscribers in 20 days or so. So average daily views, 93,000. I think it was higher than that, in all honesty. I mean, look at this day. 20 hours ago, 141,000, 73,000, 35,000, 47,000. That's all the same day's videos, and he probably had another one right below that. So, you know, Q is doing well over this 93,000 average daily views number, but they're going off of Social Blade for May here, which includes a couple lower days, but some big ones too. And they were just ticking up every single day. Jovan Pulitzer is the guy involved in the audit, I believe. He was certainly involved in early calls for an audit. He had... They're going after this guy with 8,700 views a day. 295 subscribers. Man, that's a little bit much. That's a little bit much for my taste. Doug TeNapel. He was 60,000 subscribers as of May 21st. He was closing in on 100,000 again. But now he's gone. Clearly removed some videos there. So that brought his average down a little bit. But yeah, so he was doing very, very well. Very, very well. Julie Green Ministries. This is another person. This is one of the finance guys. She used to work with them, I believe, and then spun off. But same thing. Look at the amount of views these guys are getting. Just huge. Huge. Nick Mosader. He's still there. Nick Mosader's channel is still there. So hopefully he survives this, but he's doing very well. Neil Johnson. I don't know who this guy is. Never heard of him. Got the lumberjack look going on. Can Khan. Never heard of Can Khan, but 4,000 views a day, very dangerous. Oh, lots of deleted videos going on in there. Dave Cares For You. I don't know who this guy is. Most of these people, I have no idea who any of them are because I don't follow this stuff. Gail Golick, 6,000 subscribers. They're going after these people with like tiny shows. Going after them with tiny shows. Scottsdale Studios is Arizona Conservative News. They're gone. Boom. Liz Harris Realty. This is a woman who is literally just live streaming audit coverage. Like live streaming 8 hours of the audit video. That's what she was doing a lot of times. But, you know, she's from Arizona, clearly. She's a realtor, and she got tossed. Marcus D., whoever that is. Eye Opener with Michael Lewis. This is a big channel, 210,000 subscribers. And not like just showing up, right? New subscribers in the last 30 days, 1,000. Who is, he was doing, you know, decent video views per day. But this is a long established channel. I wonder if he's still around. Snowflake syndrome. I'm just seeing if I'm on the list. Okay, good. I'm not. Keep me off of any of your fucking lists. But yeah, this is what they look like. These are what the hit pieces look like. But, you know, Beheezy, Q, Doug, they were making money off of this, and that scares people. That scares people a lot. A lot. It's a nasty, nasty business, and Media Matters knows exactly what they're doing. They're awful. Someone said, can they sue them? Nah, not really. They didn't do anything. They wrote an article. I mean, that article was targeted for specific people, and those people ended up seeing it somehow. Good luck proving it. Anyway, it's a nasty business. It's a nasty business. And then gone. You're done. You're done. Your channel, your business, your livelihood is over. It's a mess. All right, let's take a look at the chats that have come in, and then I'll make the big announcement in just a second. Andrew War Snowboard says, if a manager keeps you from an interview because they didn't think you'd interview well, is that prejudice? Yeah. By definition of prejudice, that's prejudice. And is that illegal? No. That happened to me, and I'm curious to know the statute of limitations. It happened to me too, buddy. But it's, unless you can prove they did it because of your race or some protected status. If it's just because they didn't think you'd do well at it, or they just didn't want you to interview, they can do that. Unfortunately. Very messy. Minnesota's an at-will state, so. Kingly Gaming says, just wanted to say thanks for what you do. It's been hell for me lately. Just got a job after a year and a half unemployed and had to say goodbye to a dear friend. He refused to wait for cancer to take him. I don't blame him. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, Kingly Gaming. That is shit. That is shit. Jason of the Great Awakening says, I follow a lot of the audit channels here and on other platforms. Only person on there I recognize really is Out of the Darkness from here. This movement is way bigger than Media Matters is counting on. Media Matters isn't counting on anything. Media Matters is counting on demonetizing and deplatforming people who speak in a way that they don't like. That's all they care about. Like if you think that Media Matters is trying to like shut down the message or something like that, nope. No. They know they can't do that. They can't do that. What they can do, though, is just break individuals. And that's how they work. Because if you break individuals, you scare people out of the movement. But you got to let them get up there first. And then you got to break them down. It's a mess. It's messy. Enough of that, though. Let's talk about something completely different. Completely different. Are you guys ready for this? 1 week from tonight. 1 week from tonight, we have a show. We have a show unlike, well, a show to for the record books, I guess. It's a show that people have been wondering about for a very, very long time. 1 week from tonight, Vic Mignogna will be on the Rekieta Law live stream for a tell-all interview. Me and Vic. And the topic will not be something esoteric, will not be something out there. It will be me and Vic talking about this situation. That's the show. That's the show. It is 1 week away because the message needs to get out. So I will be promoting this on social media. I will probably build the show link tomorrow so that people have it. I will be putting it out on, Twitter and all of that stuff. This is the time, I guess. I guess it's the time. So Vic will be on. I will be talking to him, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I've heard so much about Vic. I have heard so much about Vic. I've heard that he hates me. He won't talk to me. I've heard that I ruined his life and all of that stuff. So I guess maybe we'll find out if that's true. Maybe he'll come on and just tell me I need to go, suck off an exhaust pipe or something. I don't know. But that's the big news. I hope you in the vault or over the internet. This one will be over the internet. In the vault would be a lot of fun, but it'll be over the internet. So that'll be a fun sort of time, maybe, or it'll be super stressful. I have no idea. What I'm hoping is that a bunch of people show up and watch. That's what I want, is a bunch of people to come watch. And it's the crazy thing is, it's impossible. It's impossible to know if the appeal decision will come out tomorrow. If it does, I guess that'll be something to talk about on the show. But I have no idea. I have no idea. So I would actually prefer not. I would prefer not to know the outcome of the appeals. I would prefer to just have the interview without the appeals as this looming news over it. And that is actually why Wednesday is the day. Because one, wanted to give enough time to get people to watch the show, to get the word out and stuff like that. And two, if it's not this week, I don't want it to come on Thursday of next week before we have the interview set. So I figured 7 days is the time. We will have it Wednesday of next week, I believe, at the normal time here. And that'll be, if it comes out Thursday of next week, that's fine. That's fine. I don't want this interview to be about the appeals. I want this interview to be about the story of what Vic has gone through from start to finish, through this process, the goods, the bads, how his life has changed, what do you learn from it? How do you adapt to it? What he's been doing, all of that stuff is what I want to ask him. Why he's still wearing gay pants when he's not a voice actor for Funimation anymore. These are the hard-hitting questions. But no, I do want a lot of people to show up, and I hope they will. Just be here. And if they support Vic, I hope they show up to support him. Because this will be the first time, to my knowledge, that he's really, really stepped onto YouTube to speak out about this in a full way. And as you guys know, it's something I think that I wanted him to do a long time ago, that I thought should have been done in 2019. In Christmas of 2019 was when I thought that Vic should be more out there speaking about this. So it'll be hopefully a big show. That's all I've got to say. Hopefully a big show. Colfade 2A wannabe Hunan Muhammad says, great way to ask your dad the question would be, if mom had an innie and an outie, balls or no balls? Oh boy. Oh boy. The appeal is dead next week, don't you? It's literally impossible to know that. There is nothing, there's no way to know what happens with the appeal. Snoopy says, oh, fuck off with that shit. With what shit? What shit should I fuck off with? That's an interesting question. But if people had done that, people would doubt his sincerity now, at least genuine for sure, right? No, I very much think Vic should have gone more aggressively on in 2019. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've never ever strayed from that opinion. And I think that it would have been beneficial for him to do that and to show. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't show his fans that he appreciated them. I just think it would have helped and been beneficial in that. But, you know, people have different opinions on what to do in these situations. And my opinion is one that is not conventional. It's very, very aggressive. And it is, and I think that it's, frankly, I don't think the old way of doing this stuff is the right way to do it. And I think we've seen a lot of people try the old way, and it doesn't work out for them as well as they would like. So that's my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but like I'm not going to be inconsistent about what my opinion should have been. So I'm very excited to see to have Vic coming on the show on Wednesday to engage in this sort of discussion about this situation from the start. And I think it'd be great for people to hear the story from him and his perspective, you know, not filtered through me or Tug or Flash or Hirohei or anybody else, right? Just Vic telling it directly. That sounds great. So I hope you all will share that and share the links and let people know, because I know a lot of people who used to watch the show more specifically for Vic. I know they don't watch as much anymore, and I don't blame them. That's not a problem or anything. I know they don't watch as much anymore because they're not as interested in these other topics. They were here for Vic's stuff, and I think they would like to know that Vic is going to have some time, so they should swing by, pop in for the night. Pop in for the night. Jay Graham, no, comments with links do not go through. Only mods can post links. But, yeah, so that's the big announcement. If you're just here for the big announcement, kindly see yourself to Dr. Kevorkian, and we'll get on with the rest of the show. So where do we go from here? Ronnie O'Neal. Ronnie O'Neal is on the menu tonight. Jason Smoot says, Nick, I'm taking a shot of Blanton's. Take a shot with me to get rid of all this BS. Lol. Okay, I don't have Blanton's. It's hard to get here. But I do have this Aaron malt with a port cask finish. Mike Hurley, don't know. Beat your previous stream head count record next Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to break 14,000 people, but maybe we will. I just hope we have as many people as are interested. Here we go. This is for you, Jason Smoot. All right, here we go. I got to check the Streamlabs donations real quick. Matt the Beast says, don't you lie to me. Law Twitter knows Vic hates you, and you threw a crying tantrum about it. You wouldn't insinuate that they're wrong, or even worse, lying. How dare you even suggest that their inference that Vic hasn't been on your show yet is proof. I mean, they may be right. We'll find out. Right? We'll find out. You know me. If Vic wants to come on and read me the riot act, he's welcome to do so. So that'll be fun. Again, I'm really looking forward to it. Yes, Chauvin sentencing is the 25th, I believe, which is Thursday or Friday. What day is that? Friday the 25th is Chauvin sentencing. I will try and live stream that. It's at 1:30 p.m. Central Time, I believe. So we'll probably live watch the Chauvin sentencing hearing, and we can all watch him get 30 years in prison together. That'll be fun. Because Chauvin he's gonna get the full double sentencing treatment, in my opinion. That's what I think will happen. All right. So let's see. Got here. We've got a little bit of We're
starting first here at 6 with this boy.
There's not a full video of Ronnie questioning his son that I'm aware of at this time. So we have to just get some segments, and then we have to read some of it as well. Ronnie O'Neal, if you'll remember, is the gentleman we saw 2 days ago. He was screaming his opening statement at the jury in his self-represented double murder trial. He appears to have a self-defense claim, according to him, in that his girlfriend allegedly shot him 3 times with a shotgun. What that doesn't really explain is why he would also need to murder his daughter with a hatchet. That is one of the unsung questions, or unanswered questions. And I guess Ronnie would say that the wife murdered the girl with the hatchet. Not quite sure, but he is relying on the testimony in some ways of his son, who was 8 at the time of the attack, lived through the attack, but not without injury, and is now 11 years old. And so Ronnie will be cross-examining the son, or was cross-examining the son yesterday, I believe. So here is Fox News Tampa Bay has
Boy's act of bravery after surviving the unthinkable.
I just saw my dad holding a shotgun and my mom, and mom screaming at him.
That little boy testifying at his father's murder trial. He's the son of Ronnie O'Neal, his father on trial for the murder.
Can we take a moment and appreciate, the voice of the newscaster? Man, all newscasters, they've got that great broadcast voice. It's fantastic.
Murder of the boy's mother and sister, and also for trying to kill Ronnie, allegedly. Now, because he's representing himself,
there's an hour-long video of O'Neal cross-examining his son on YouTube. Whoa! We're going straight to that. Ronnie O'Neal cross. Oh, here it is. Yep. Oh my God.
And nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. You can put your hand down and we are ready to proceed. Mr. Gale?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so this is a direct exam. I'm going to skip the direct exam and go to Ronnie cross-examining him because I think that's the more interesting sort of approach here. So, yeah, the haze filter, they're not going to show a minor in court. Minors' names are protected in court records and their identities are protected, and that is balanced out. That is balanced out with the public's access to trials. So, we're going to just go into this. If you don't know how exam versus cross-exam works, they are two very different things. On cross-exam, typically, now this is Ronnie we're talking about, so who knows how he's going to do it. But typically on cross-exam, you get to lead the witness. That is actually part of cross-exam is you do lead the witness. And then you typically want to ask yes or no questions. You want to, in a sense, force the witness to say what you want them to say. On direct exam, you are not allowed to lead the witness. The idea is that on direct exam, the witness is friendlier to the person. That's why they're doing the direct. It's typically voluntary. They've agreed to be a witness at that point. And so therefore, they're not allowed to guide them through the questioning process unless they become uncooperative and hostile. Then they can treat them as an adverse witness and cross-examine them with permission from the judge. But typically speaking, the exam is going to be, tell me about the day. Tell me about what happened. Tell me about this stuff that's going on. What did you see? Very open-ended questions. On cross, you're going to say things like, now you woke up in the morning on that day, right? Yes. And you went to school, didn't you? Yeah. And then you came home on the bus like normal, right? Yes. So you give them these yes or no questions and you don't allow them to develop the story. That's the power of cross-exam, and it's an excellent tool for defense attorneys because it allows you to expose lies without them being able to qualify it. So if you want to win a murder trial, a sexual assault trial, something like that, you tend to have to be willing to utilize that cross-examination to be absolutely merciless to the witness. You have to put them in a position to convince the jury that they're lying about basically everything. That's how you end up winning them. Is by showing that the main witnesses that the state is bringing against you are actually not trustworthy, not reliable. And you do that by putting them into a lie. And the power of cross-exam is they don't have an opportunity to qualify the lie. The moment they say yes or no, if they do, yeah, but you say, I'm sorry, I'm asking the questions here. Answer yes or no, please. If they say more, you tell the judge, can you stop them, please? Yes or no questions. That's it. All right, so here we go. Here is Ronnie O'Neal.
How you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Oh, Father's Day is coming up. That was that's tough.
Do you remember talking to some attorneys that came to see you and they said that they were there on my behalf by the name of Jennifer Spradley, Carolyn Shimley?
What's the objection?
Improper impeachment.
I'm not impeaching.
Okay.
I'm asking questions.
Yeah, that's an improper objection at that point. Do you remember this happening? That's a simple yes or no question. Do you remember these attorneys showing up saying they were there on my behalf? Do you remember that? Immediate objection, improper impeachment. What's he impeaching?
Well, the question on the
Oh, volume. I'll turn it up on here a bit.
Table is if he recalls the attorneys coming to see him. He can answer that question as far as yes or no, but then we'll see what the next question is.
Right.
So you can go ahead and answer that question. Do you recall that event happening?
Yes.
I can't turn it, guys, I can't turn it up high. The recording, he's not by the microphone on the recording. I've got the volume maxed out. Maybe I'll try this. I'll turn it up a little bit on this thing and see if that helps. But this is fully maxed out. So
Do you remember doing things with me? As far as things in the neighborhood and going to family events and things like that?
Objection, relevance.
I'm going to sustain the objection. So, Mr. O'Neal, your questions have to pertain to issues that were raised on direct examination, all right, as part of your cross-examination. So I have sustained the objection, so do not answer that question, okay? Next question, Mr. O'Neal.
Do you remember doing an interview with Detective Dirks?
Yes.
okay. Whew, he got one.
Did you guys go to basketball and football games and things like that together?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you guys go to a Bucks game together?
Yes.
All right. So part of Ronnie's case here that he's trying to make is the idea that the detective has tainted the child as a witness. So he's asking him, did you go to basketball games? Did you go to football games? Well, Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be the football game. Did you go do these activities? So he's trying to probably set the groundwork here that this kid has been coached and been taught how to answer these questions. Frederick Little says, hey Nick, hope all is well with you and the family. It is, thank you. Looking forward to the Vic stream next week. Also, I'm curious, is there any update with you being supposedly sued by Ray? No. Ray Gordon has never sued me, nor has his attorney ever gotten back to me. Gentle Ben says Bucks equals Milwaukee Bucks NBA game. No, it's probably Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're in Tampa Bay. And they're in, right? Think? Isn't it I mean, it seems more likely that they would go to the football game of the city that they're actually in, to me. Rather than because the caption said Bucks when it would be BUCCS. So, yeah. So I'm just guessing. All right, here we go.
Did you guys talk about anything that happened that night?
No.
No. At any time, did he talk to you about those things and tell you what to say here today?
No.
No.
What about your new dad?
This is not going well for Ronnie. That's not going well for him. On cross exam, you get to ask these questions. You get to ask leading questions. You don't have to ask leading questions. And sometimes you want to ask those open-ended questions. You want to say, hey, what did you talk about? Tell me what you talked about. Who have you talked about this with? But you ask the leading questions when you know the answer. If you don't know the answer, that's a tough one. Okay, so he's asking the next question, what about your new dad? His new dad is a former deputy sheriff in the police department and was a participant in some of the case against Ronnie back when this happened. I believe he is no longer with the department, but he has adopted the child. So Ronnie's allegation here is that the new dad is involved in sabotaging this case as well.
Richard.
No.
And by the way, I'm not saying necessarily that there was any tampering going on, but that answer from the kid, I think, is utter bullshit. I think there's no way you adopt a child and over the course of 2 years with that adoptive child, you have no discussions about what happened the night their mother and sister were murdered and that they were attacked. I find that really, really hard to believe that they've never talked about it at all. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't mean that the conversation was improper, but that seems like it's not likely to me. But this is the thing. This is why a lawyer should be doing this as opposed to Ronnie. Notice how Ronnie's tone and demeanor are completely different. He's being very gentle, very approachable with the child. I don't know if that's an act. I don't know if he was gentle and approachable, maybe except for the night where he tried to kill him. Who knows about that? But he is trying to be this non-intimidating, very open figure. He wants to appeal to the side of Ronnie the Fourth that he believes will open up and tell the story that he wants him to tell. This is not the right way to do it. You've got to have someone who will actually be kind of mean to this kid. You can't take these no answers that he's getting. He's just eating L's right now. And he has to get some W's, he's going to have to get this kid to say something spectacular.
All right. Did you see me beat your mom?
No.
There's a good answer.
Did
All
you
right.
see me shoot your mom?
No.
Okay. Okay. Oh, and there was a question in the chat that says, what did he think was going to happen? Let's clarify something real quick as to Ronnie's theory of the case. And I don't know the full background, but when the child was immediately picked up by police after the incident, when he was immediately taken into protective custody or child protective services, his story about the incident was different than what it is now. Ronnie is saying that the new statements that he's been making about the case in the past like month, I believe, that those new statements are different and that those new statements are the product of coaching on behalf of the police department, the detectives, his adopted dad, that they have been coaching him to give these answers, and that's why his story has changed. That's why he thinks that he can get to the original story. That's what he's trying to do. Now, there can be some very practical reasons why an 8-year-old who is now 11 gives different answers about what happened at the time. Especially, you've got, okay, well, when he was 8, he was closer to the proximity of the event in time, and therefore he'd have a better recollection of what is going on. But he's also closer to a large amount of trauma that just happened, and he may be shutting down, trying to process that trauma. He may be in fear as an 8-year-old that they're going to put him back with the dad who just tried to kill him. And so he may have a different story about what happened. Now that he's 11, that doesn't necessarily make it better, but he is older. He has had time to process the event, and his memory could be legitimately different than what it was when he was an 8-year-old. He can remember different things about the event, and he can remember things that maybe didn't even happen, but he's heard news stories about it. He's read about this stuff in the paper. He's maybe overheard his dad talk about it. Nothing even nefarious has to happen to change his perception of what happened when he was a much younger child with a much different perspective on the world. And so those things make the testimony of children inherently complicated. And that's why in family law cases, you typically are not going to have judges even listening to the testimony of children in family law cases until they're 15, 16 years old. They don't want to deal with this shit. They don't want to deal with the fact that kids literally perceive the world differently from year to year as their brains change and develop. So, but in a criminal case, you get to face your accusers. It's a constitutional right. So they have to have the kid testify they have to let him cross-examine the kid if the kid's going to testify in the first place. Oh, and by the way, I saw the basic bitch joke police. Coming out about my last stream about Ronnie. Jesus Christ, get over yourselves. The moral fagging going on with some of these people. Oh, I can't believe Nick would tell a joke. He's so different now. I want him to go back to what I think is appropriate. Oh my God, stop being such fucking babies about it. Good Christ. How do you go outside without soiling yourselves? I don't even understand.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh.
Remember doing an interview.
Wait a minute. Someone told me to play the video. No. Now I'm going to take extra time. I think some people need to remember like what's going on here. Just go watch the video on your own. Here we go. If you remember doing an interview
with a woman named Jennifer Miller. Did you hear me? Jennifer Miller.
Answer the fucking question.
No, I do not remember.
Well, you did do an interview with her. And you told her.
Objection, improper impeachment.
But he did. Wait a minute. Why? I want to see what the judge says. Hold on.
What are you getting ready to ask him next?
About the question that I just asked.
Okay, so if he did the interview with Jennifer Miller?
No, well, before that, about him seeing me shoot his mom.
Okay, well, go ahead and ask that question then.
Yeah, this is not an improper impeachment. He said, I don't remember having an interview with Jennifer Miller. And so he says, well, you did have an interview with Jennifer Miller. Boom, impeached. If he can prove that. And in that interview, you said this. Is that true? You can ask these questions. That was not an improper impeachment in any way. These prosecutors are nervous as fuck about what this kid's going to say. And the judge there kind of making the right move. I mean, she didn't sustain the objection.
So, I believe that's the proper.
Well, you have to identify what record you're relying upon as far as the statement goes.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I was about to do that.
I know, but you have to identify for the record, so you need to give the state a heads up on what record you're going to be utilizing or relying upon.
Well, is Jennifer Miller interview page 24?
What record are you going to use? The record in the record of Jennifer Miller's interview, page 24, that the state knows exists because the state had to give it to him. God damn it. This is another reason why you shouldn't be your own attorney, because the prosecutor will be an absolute cockbag about you, about what you're doing, right? Why are you objecting to this? You know that record exists. You gave it to him. You've reviewed it. You probably have it in your notes in front of you. So it's amazing that the record isn't like an obscure thing, like a conversation with Officer so-and-so about an interview with Jennifer Miller, but it's literally from the record, the interview with Jennifer Miller.
Okay. Page 24 of what?
Line 15.
Is that from a deposition or from a report?
That's not from the report, it's from an interview. That was sort of a deposition from Jennifer Miller.
All right, State, do you know what Mr. O'Neal's referring to?
I believe this is a forensic interview that occurred shortly after.
Okay.
I believe this is a forensic interview. I believe that it's a forensic interview conducted by the state, provided by the state to the defendant as a required discovery disclosure. Man, look, Ronnie may be guilty. Ronnie probably is guilty, but fuck prosecutors sometimes. I mean, come on. Come on. He knows exactly what document this is.
So, go ahead.
Page 24, line 15. Do you remember telling her after she asked? She said, and then you said that there was a shooting outside and then in your sister's closet. And then she said, who was getting the shooting? And you said, my mom. And she said, your mom, okay. And did you see it happen or did you just hear it happen or something else? And you said, I heard it and saw it.
See, this is where they should object. This is where they should object, because right now he is testifying to what was said in that interview, and that is not the proper way to go about it. These state prosecutors, not only are they scumbags, but they're also fucking dumb. They're also dumb. This is where they should be objecting. Say, objection, Your Honor. He's not asking a question to this kid. He's testifying on behalf of what's in the material. Well, that material's in the record already. He needs to introduce it properly. That's what you do. That's what you do. God.
Do you remember that?
Gonna say
Do
no.
you remember making that statement to
Like,
Miss Miller? Yeah, just answer yes, no, or I don't know.
like saying that my mom shot.
No. Let me ask it again.
Yep. Ronnie's actually doing kind of an okay job. I mean, he was testifying there, but he got away with it. So, you know, winner, chicken dinner.
Reply to Jennifer Miller's question. She asked you, who was getting the shooting.
She asked you. Oh, we solved it. Jennifer Miller is the killer. Miller rhymes with killer. This is true. She asked you. She's asking everybody. BG Willia 21207 says, I got $20 today. He'll lose. It's the safest bet on the planet.
And you said, your mom. And she said, okay, did you see it? And you said, I heard it and saw it. Do you remember saying that to her?
No, I did not.
Okay, so he doesn't remember. So if you're an attorney here and not the dad, this is when you start trying to draw out, well, what happened then? You didn't say that. What did you say? And then you get the inconsistent statements to come out of the kid. And then you say, but that's not what you said at this previous interview. Why is your answer different today? Why aren't you telling the truth? Or when were you lying? When weren't you telling the truth? You do that. That's how you start to impeach the testimony of this kid. That's the hard. It's going to be hard for Ronnie to do that. One, because he doesn't know how. Two, because you have to be mean to the kid right there. You have to say, all right, you've got a record of what he said to the person. He's already said he doesn't remember the interview. So now you just start trying to draw out the questions from the interview, from the kid, get answers that are different, and impeach his credibility over and over and over. He doesn't remember what happened on that day. He doesn't remember what happened on interviews after that day. We have a record of what happened, and he doesn't remember. Over and over and over again. He doesn't remember. You want that as much as possible. You want him to be different from the record that's already established, because it's 3 years ago. A lot of people forget a lot of stuff in 3 years. A lot of people forget a lot of what's going on over the course of this much time. It doesn't even have to be a kid. You try remembering what you did 3 years ago, or in the aftermath of a murder when you've interviewed with 27 people, who you said what to.
But you did hear a shot that night. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you heard that shot, where were you at that time?
Standing by the house phone.
By the house phone? Thank you, closed captioning. I think he said standing by the house phone.
All right.
By the way, court without highlights is really boring.
Do you know where your mom was shot at? And what part of the body she was shot in? Do you know anything about that? Can you hear me fine?
You said where she was shot?
Yes, sir. Do you know where your mom was shot at?
No.
Deposition, page 68.
Whose deposition?
Our deposition of Mr. Yes. What
Page and line, please.
page 66, line 19 to 22. Oh no, hold on. I'm sorry. Page 68, line 14. And hold on, 1 second. Get this right. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not a deposition. This is page 3.
From what?
Of 23, interview, second interview with Detective Dirks. Page 3 of 23, the second interview with Detective Dirks.
Now, see, that's kind of interesting because the way he asked the question earlier about Detective Dirks, that's the guy who took him to the Bucks game, is he asked the interview of if you and Detective Dirks ever talked about this stuff. But I think he said it in the context of while he was at the Bucks game. And so it would have been better to just leave the question open-ended and then say, because he clearly had an interview with him about it. It's recorded. They have the transcript of it. That's what he's about to go to right now. So that would have been a good place to go back to impeach, again, his memory.
All right, and what is the question?
Ma'am, just a moment.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Let the state find what you're referring to. Okay, you may proceed.
All right. And so you say you do not know where she was shot. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, did you know that you told Detective Dirks during your interview with him? You said that I shot her in the stomach.
When you say I shot her, you need to be a little more
Well,
specific.
You just said in the stomach. He asked you, where did your mom get shot? And you said, in the stomach. Do you remember that?
No, I do not.
In the stump. Yeah, the algorithmic closed captioning is not great with Ronnie's cadence here. See, the problem is
You said just a while ago
he just asked the kid if he remembered saying that. The kid said, no, I don't remember that.
that you did not see me shoot your mom or beat your mom. Is that correct?
Yes.
Page 28. Interview with Miss Miller. Miss Jennifer Miller.
Does the defense have to present an alternate killer or cause of death? It's a good idea for reasonable doubt, but no.
Miss Jennifer Miller, that you saw everything and I was outside. Do you remember that? She said to you, did you hear?
What he needs to do is he needs to slow down and let the kid answer the questions that he's asking. He's asking him a question, not waiting for the answer, and then filling in more detail and having the kid answer something else. That's very, very confusing. It's unclear for the record. And the most important part is it makes it hard for the jury to follow the question and answer line. You want very clear delineation between question and answer for each question. You do not want them blended together. You want to be able to point to the record and say, I asked this, here was his answer. I asked this, here was his answer. That is a problem with his questioning here. I want to clarify something I just said. Someone asked about presenting an alternate killer. Actually, for reasonable doubt purposes at the trial court level, you do not really want to mess with other theories, because then you have to start testifying and showing how those other theories might work out. You literally just want to disprove the state's theory. Very rarely is that done by presenting the real killer in like a Columbo moment or whatever. Usually what you're doing is just showing that their facts do not add up to you being the killer or the crime committer or whatever it is. And, you know, it's the state's job to figure out who else did it. You don't really have time and resources to try and testify to someone else doing it. Unless one of your witnesses spills the beans on who actually did it, that's, of course, a different story.
Did you hear? No, she said, you did hear? Did you see what was happening, or did you not? You said, I saw everything. And she said, you saw everything? How did you see everything? And you said, because I saw everything. And she said, where? Were you outside, or were you inside, or something else? And you said, I was outside. Do you remember that?
The question is, do you remember saying that to someone named Jennifer Miller?
Or do you remember saying that to Jennifer Miller, that you were outside and that you saw everything?
No.
He already said he doesn't remember an interview with Jennifer Miller in the first place. Maybe he doesn't know who Jennifer Miller is.
And did you know in your deposition by my counselors, Jennifer Spradley and Carolyn Schimmerler,
Page in line in the deposition, Mr. O'Neal.
page 103.
So that's another thing. I think he's been through 3 public defenders at this point.
Did you know that you told them that you never went outside with your mom before the police arrived? Do you remember telling them that? She asked you, she said, okay, so is your mommy
Let him answer the
inside of
question.
the house when anything is set on fire? And you said, no, she was outside. And she asked, okay, and you're never with, are you ever with your mom outside the house? And you said, no. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
You do. All right. Did I hurt you that night of this incident?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I did. And how did I hurt you?
Fuck.
You stabbed me.
Let the record show that it says you stopped me on the closed captioning, but he actually said you stabbed me. And this is not the answer you're looking for. It would be good to avoid this line of questioning in general, unless you have a contradictory statement from the kid at an earlier time, which he may, but ooh, that's not good. You don't want to have that answer at all.
Second interview. Detective
Can you
Dirks.
give us a date of that interview? Date and time?
March 26, 2018. Don't remember the time, but it was official.
Listen to the process. Can you give us a date and time of that interview? You've got all this material. You have it in Discovery. You just ask what document it is.
What is the interview with, Mr. O'Neal?
The interview was with Detective Dirks.
Okay.
Page 20 of 23. Do you remember telling Detective Dirks?
The judge keeps giving Ronnie the old side eye. Look at her. Look at her. Look at that. Look at that look on her face. The old side eye from the judge.
After he asked, did your dad hurt you the night that he hurt your sister? And you said, no, he didn't hurt me. Do you remember that?
See, there you go. That's a great statement. There he goes. He's impeaching the child's credibility and his truthfulness on the testimony of if he was stabbed. Good job, Ronnie.
No.
See, a good thing to do here would be to ask Ronnie to go ahead and read the statements that he said. That would be a good idea to do. You introduce the interview as evidence. The judge, I'd like to have this interview entered into the record. This interview is, or this is a transcript of the interview that was conducted, submitted by the state in Discovery. We want to go ahead and have this interview entered into the record. It is the interview of Ronnie IV with Detective Dirks, conducted on this date at this time. And then you say, Ronnie, you remember having an interview with Detective Dirks, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to need you to read from page 20, line 15, or whatever it is. When Detective Dirks asks you, did your dad hurt you that night? Please read what you responded in this interview. He says, okay, I responded, no, he did not. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do in this case. You want the kid on the record reading his own words from the other record. That's the better way to do this.
And you said just a while ago, I stabbed you with a knife, right?
Yes.
Detective Dirks, interview number 2, March 26, 2018, page 9 and 23.
Oh, he's getting the hang of it now.
Do you remember telling Detective Dirks when he asked you, when did he hurt you with a knife? And you said, I don't know. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, you remember that? Okay.
Then Detective Dirks asked you, was it the same night or was it before that? And you said, no, it was another day.
Oh,
You
okay.
remember that?
All right, that's fine. Whew. Solve that one. He didn't stab him that night. He stabbed him a different time. I mean, that is, I guess, good. I guess good that you can establish that the stabbing happened on a different day. Not great for the jury, though. In general, I think you're going to have to clarify what the hell stabbing happened at a different time.
Oh, sorry, repeat that again.
Detective Dirk says, was it the same night or was it before that? And you said to him, no, it was another day. And he said, and was that the same night you came to the hospital for all this or something else? And you said to him, something else. Do you remember that?
I don't understand.
Too many questions.
Well, do you recall telling Detective Dirks that? Yes, no, or I don't know?
Why I got hurt? Like,
No, he asked you, when did it happen? That night. He asked you, when did your dad stab you? And he said, was it that night or was it something else? And you replied, it was something else.
Stop. Let him answer the question.
no, I do not remember saying that.
Every night when Ronnie Jr.'s about to go to bed, do 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 do, tying up the arms, grabbing it with the switchblade. Here it comes. Here comes the mandatory go to bed knife fight. Trying to figure out where the other stabbing occurs. Whew.
When you heard the gunshot that night, can you hear me?
Yes.
When you heard that gunshot that night, was your sister hurt already, or was she hurt after that shot?
She was hurt after that.
All right.
Okay. Cameraman's getting bold here, getting close to the kid's blurred out face. Is he going to try and capture some responses through the hand movements?
Do you remember?
All right,
In
I'm
the
sorry.
interview-
Hold on one second, Mr. O'Neal, 1 second. So I just want to make sure, let's just take everybody, just take a moment. Let's stand up in the jury box and just stretch and get
What?
flowing. We're not taking a break, we're just taking a little stretch break, all right?
Little seventh inning stretcheroo here? What is this? That's weird.
Okay, very good.
All right, get up, jury. Stretch around.
All right, and Mr. Want to stand up, you can take a stretch break too. All right, very good. Let's continue on.
Probably the jury's going to sleep. That's probably what's going on. Jury's looking like they're nodding off. There's long, dead pauses between this.
So you did say that your sister was hurt after the shot, right?
Yes.
Right. remember in the interview with Jennifer Miller?
Turns out Ronnie's questioning was killing the jury. Now he's up for much more than a double homicide. Boom.
Pages 34 and 35.
Rob Price says, wow, talk about being a horrible parent, forcing your child to relive you stabbing him and shooting his sister and mother. To be fair, I think the shooting, the stabbing, and the killing of the sister and mother and then stabbing him is the worst evil here. And that reliving it is kind of pales in comparison of the initial act. To me, I think that's the worst thing. That's my... Remember, from Ronnie's perspective, he actually didn't do this. That's his story. I mean, it might not be true, but if his story is true and he didn't do it, he can't be like, well, I don't want to make him relive when I didn't stab him. And that would be harsh. If he didn't stab him, I mean, that, you know, he's got to do this.
And also, well, let me just start with Jennifer Miller. You told her on page 34 and 35
Zoom out, cameraman. Zoom out.
you said she said, was your sister hurt before or after the closet shooting? You said she was hurt before the closet shooting. Do you remember that?
No.
I think the significance of the before or after the closet shooting is the allegation is that Ronnie killed the mom and then killed the daughter, whereas Ronnie's allegation is he was acting in defense of himself and his family. So if the shooting was after the daughter was already hurt, then allegedly the mom would have caused the damage. Ronnie would have shot the mom justifiably, if I understand the facts correctly.
And do you remember telling Detective Dirks on page 19 of 23, March 26, 2018, he said, he asked you the same question. Was your sister hurt before your mom runs outside or after? And you said, after hurting his sister. No, here it is. You said, after hurting your sister, then I hurt your mom and ran outside. Do you remember that?
No.
Someone asked if this is normal pacing. It's a little slower than normal, but jury questioning by a lot of lawyers is pretty slow, with long pauses between the questions. Even well-prepared lawyers.
He
Because you write down a bunch of questions, you develop a script, and sometimes what happens is you get an answer that you either didn't expect and you have to move down the page past some follow-up questions, or they answer more completely than you were than you thought they would, and so you get to skip things because they took care of it at a different point or a different statement. So you remember you got to compose your list of questions pretty much the day before, and you got to get things ready. And then in the fluid moment of the courtroom, either during direct exam, some of your questions are going to get nixed. Some of the questions that you get as a result, or the questions that you have as a result of answers you get on cross, they're going to be nixed. And so you could be flipping through pages looking for stuff. And it is not a smooth, wonderful, composed oratory like it is on movies and TV, because the practical reality is, you're getting different information and you're dealing with real people. Now, opening and closing statements where you're not getting feedback from someone, you're not having to ask probing questions, you're not having to skip other questions, you get to stick to your script and pretty much go through it. But when you're on direct exam and cross exam, you're working with the person who may not be working with you. So you have to improvise and adapt your plan as you go. So there are lots of pauses. Things can be pretty slow for a lot of attorneys, and a lot of really good attorneys do it. Eric Nelson's questions, even during the Chauvin trial, you could see they were not this lightning round of questions. There was contemplation. There's pauses between each one. You want to make sure there's clarity between your question and answers. You want to make sure you're composed for the next question. You're keeping all of your emotions, your objections or whatever that you have to what they're saying. You're keeping all that in check as well at the same time. NyxHex says, on behalf of Pixlexia, hey, Kentaro Miura, did you hear that Nick Rackets, the author of No Zerker, died? Oh, woo. Man, that's... Well, someone should have told me before I started the show.
And do you remember telling Detective Dirks? Same interview, page 20 of 23. He asked, can you hear me?
Yes.
He asked, so he
Hold
heard
on,
your
hold on,
sister
hold on.
first, and then
We need to
went out.
we need to get that judge face. Watch the judge's face here. This is great.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What is this face she makes right there?
He
What is
asked,
that?
So
Sucking in a
he heard
yawn,
your
I
sister
think.
First, and then went outside, and you replied, no. Yeah, and pretty sure. Do you remember that?
Question is, do you recall telling Detective Dirks that statement?
Thanks, Judge.
No.
So right, if you don't do what you don't, just
All right, what is your next question, Mr. O'Neal?
Judge is bored out of her damn mind.
what do you remember happening after the shooting with your mom outside?
You coming back inside and you getting my sister and then putting her in my parents' room, and then you hit her with an axe.
Okay, so that question did not go well for Ronnie. That question went extremely poorly for Ronnie. the CC said kidding, but it was killing my sister. Which is, again, this is the advantage of cross-examination, is that you don't have to ask open-ended questions. So, you don't want to ask a question that says, what do you remember happening? I remember you killing my sister, coming after me with an axe. Ooh. Not good. Not good.
Jennifer Miller, page 29. Do you remember telling Miss Jennifer Miller in an interview? She asked what happened after the shooting with your mom outside. And you said...
Hold on. What page of the Jennifer Miller interview, Mr. O'Neal?
Page 29.
Okay.
Line 12 through 15. And she asked you, I'm going to repeat the question. She asked you, what happened after the shooting with your mom outside? You replied, nothing. And she said, did anything happen to you? You said, no. Do you remember that?
No.
So, you just said a while ago that, hold on one second.
Woo. By the way, we are 54 likes from 1,000. If y'all are so inclined, you can like the stream. We'll be very close to 1,000 likes here.
A while ago, and I came back in and took your sister from her room to your mom's room and hit her with an axe, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? One second, I'm trying to keep them.
Cheers to the chat. Ronnie's going down in flames.
In your deposition, page 99.
Come on, Ronnie, ask the question, buddy. Man, that kid, though. That kid is, when you think about what the kid has been through, he's handling this questioning really well, right? Like, the kid is sitting there saying, yeah, you killed my mom, then you came in, killed my sister with an axe. And he's saying it like just dead delivery. That's, God, it's got to be fucking rough.
Deposition, page 99, you told her, you said, when asked, where is your sister? Where was your sister when mom and dad ran outside? You replied, she was in my mom's room.
I don't see that on page 99, Counselor. You're still referring to page
Oh,
99.
that's page 100. payphone. Did you hear the question, son?
Yes, I did.
So answer the fucking question.
Do you remember telling my attorneys in your deposition when they asked, where is your sister when mom and dad ran outside? And you replied, she was in my mom's room. Do you remember that?
Okay, listen, again, the question is, Mr. Do you recall making that statement during your deposition? It's either yes, no, or I don't know. Don't interrupt me, Mr. O'Neal. Okay?
Oh, shit.
So that's, do you recall making that statement, Mr.
No.
The problem is all Ronnie's putting on the record here is that the kid doesn't remember these interviews.
I'm sorry, on page 99, you told them you don't remember when she went from her room to your mom's room. Do you remember making that statement?
No.
We're almost to the end of this.
You just said a while ago that I told you to go get some things. What did I tell you to go get?
A knife.
Okay.
All right. Jennifer Miller, page 39. Do you remember telling Miss Jennifer Miller when she asked, did your dad ask you to bring him anything or tell you to go get anything? And you replied, no. Do you remember making that statement?
No.
Yeah, so again, the proper way to do this, if you're in Ronnie's shoes, is not what he's doing now. Right now, he's establishing that the kid doesn't remember the interviews that he gave 3 years ago when he was 8. What you want to be doing is you want to be forcing them to discuss what they said when they were 8, not what they're saying now. That's how you impeach the testimony, because on direct exam, he's already said that his dad stabbed him or whatever, most likely. And so now is your chance to get him to relive the original tale. Focus on the dates. Focus on the proximity to the event, the inconsistencies in the story. That's what you want to do.
Now you said that I got some matches or some objects and lit some things on fire. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, you just told Mr. Harmon here, or Mr. Gale, that you saw me sprinkle gasoline over your sister's body. Is that correct?
Fuck me.
Or you said that I sprayed gasoline everywhere. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
telling my attorneys when they asked you, did you ever see your dad pouring gasoline anywhere in the house? And you replied, no. Do you remember making that statement?
No.
Get to the next question, Ronnie.
And you said that I had my foot on you and went to strike you or strike a match and set you on fire. Is that correct?
Fuck.
Yes.
So now he's referencing what happened on direct exam.
Do you remember Jennifer Miller interview, page 36, 37? Do you remember telling Jennifer Miller after she asked, how did you get burned? And you said, I got burned because the fire came to me. Do you remember that statement?
You just have to answer. Do you recall making that
Answer the
statement?
fucking question. Oh my god.
No.
You know you're going to answer every question no about what you remember about the interview that you don't remember. I'm about to start yelling at this kid.
And she asked you, hold on 1 second. And she said, she asked you, Jennifer Miller asked you again, she said, how did it come to you? And you said, the fire went to me. And, no, pardon me, that was the line before. She said, how did it come to you? And you said, I don't know.
No, this guy's not a lawyer. He's the accused. He's the accused murderer. He's defending himself.
Do you recall making that statement to Jennifer Miller?
Yes.
Wait, what? Hold on. What was that question?
And do you recall my attorneys asking you,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
how did it come to you? And you said, I don't know.
Do you recall making that statement to Jennifer Miller?
Yes.
Now he remembers making any statements to Jennifer Miller ever?
And do you recall my attorneys asking you the same question? They said,
Page in line, Mr. O'Neal.
page 30. Oh, I'm sorry. Page 104, line 22 and 23. My attorneys asked you, they said, all right. Hold on 1 second. They said, how did you get burned? And you said, I have no idea.
At this point, I'm going to object to improper impeachment even today during his testimony. He testified to how he got burned. So this is not impeachment.
All right, very good. I'm gonna, at this point in time, overrule the objection, but I do think that's how he's testified. So go ahead and answer the question, Mr. Do you recall making that statement or not at your deposition?
Do you remember making that statement?
Just have to answer the question. Do you recall making the statement? That's all.
No.
All right, wrap it up, Ronnie.
All right, thank you.
All right, very
Have a
good.
good one, all right?
All right, very good. It's time redirect examination. So, Mr.
Okay, so there we go. Woo! That took a little while. That's a tough one, man. You know, for not being a lawyer, he didn't do a terrible job. I mean, given the facts of the case so far, Ronnie's got a mountain to climb, a Sisyphean effort to overcome the fact that his kid testified in court that he stabbed him and tried to light him on fire or whatever. So what you saw there at the end, actually the kid didn't testify that the dad tried to light him on fire, apparently. He said he did not know the source of the burns in his testimony. So it looks like Ronnie had prepared the question to impeach him on the testimony about the fire, but it was an unnecessary impeachment, and he went to go ahead and try and do it anyway. And the judge seemed to handle that pretty well. The state's objections were nonsensical. They didn't have any problem. State prosecutors are being complete dickbags about the records he was referencing, stopping in mid-question, page in line, stopping in mid-question. But overall, you know, he did an okay job. Unfortunately for him, that's not going to probably be sufficient to actually impeach the testimony of little Ronnie, just because he could not remember what he said in an interview doesn't necessarily mean, especially in the eyes of a jury, listening to a kid talk about how his dad killed his mom and his sister, the jury's going to probably believe the kid. I don't think he did a sufficient job to go ahead and take care of that belief. He did not hammer on why the story changed, why his answers were different. When did you know? When did you determine that I took your sister and killed her with an axe, for example? Because you said here, you didn't know about that, but now you know. What happened? You know, trying to plant those seeds in the jury's head about how this could have come to be. And the obvious answer of how it could come to be is there's two obvious answers. One, Ronnie did it, and the kid, after the trauma has broken down a little bit, is able to access the sort of memories about that. He knows he's safe from his dad. This is a very important part of abuse and trauma. If a kid is traumatized by a parent, lots of times the kids will make excuses for the parent. They won't turn the parent in. They'll change their stories in favor of the parent because they're afraid that they're going to go back to the parent and be abused again. And it takes a lot of time for them to develop a sense of safety and security that they're not going to be back at that parent's house the next day. So when this kid is first being interviewed, he doesn't know that he's going to go to some other person's house and that's going to be forever or whatever. He knows that he's might be going back to dad because that's what he's had his whole life, is these parents. He's 8 years old. All he knows is that he's going to go home. So when he goes home, he's going to be potentially scared of that abuse. So one of the options is that this is just true and he's finally able to actually get those memories out. The other option seems to be there's a possibility he would be coached. There's lots of motive to coach the kid towards this conviction. There are police officers involved directly in the life of the child after the killing and to this day. And there's a possibility there and lots of opportunity for that sort of coaching to take place. You've got motive, you've got means, and you've got opportunity. That's typically where bad things happen. I'm not saying Ronnie is innocent, and it looks likely, at this point that Ronnie will be going to prison forever or dying. One of those things. But it's important to remember that Ronnie is innocent at this moment until proven guilty. The state has the burden of proving him guilty. The testimony from the kid, though inconsistent, is going to be extremely damning in the eyes of a jury. And that's why, again, if you're ever accused of something like this, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer, because they will have to do the hard work. And you pay everything you can. Because if you don't pay everything you can for the lawyer, then what if paying that $100 more per hour meant you didn't go to prison forever? Dr. OPM says, how do prosecutors get paid? They get paid a salary from the state. They get paid a salary from the state. So, messy case. Ronnie O'Neal. I'm surprised some of you thought he would yell at his kid. I thought he would act exactly like this. Very, very calm and collected. He wants the kid to remember the good times that they had, not the time when he was potentially killing his mom and sister. You know, he wants to be very approachable. He doesn't want to put any pressure on the kid. And the judge is going to be heavily on the lookout for any sort of improper actions towards the kid there. All right. We've got a completely different story. Die and go to hell. Assistant Utah Attorney General sends fiery email after candidate disturbs his nap. Darren Mano said he was shocked to read Assistant Attorney General Stephen Woothrich's email after knocking on doors for his city council campaign. Woothridge has apologized. Utah Assistant Attorney General Stephen Woothridge apologized. Don't apologize. Never apologize. After telling a Salt Lake City Council member to kindly die and go to hell in an expletive-laden email claiming that the city legislature disturbed his nap on Saturday. Yes, 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 a man after my own heart. Look, if my phone, this motherfucker is so lucky that it's together, because every time it rings, not even when I'm sleeping, when my phone rings, I'm about 1 second from throwing that shit against the wall. When I'm sleeping, the only thing saving my phone is the fact that I can't reach it. That's it. Don't you dare. You show up at my door, and you don't have a reason to be there, you can kindly get the fucking hell off my property. Hippity hoppity, here comes that shotgun property. Darren Mano, Salt Lake City's first Asian American council member. Oh, it's Asian hate now, right? And the guy has no idea. Told NBC News Wednesday that he was shocked and disturbed to read the prosecutor's angry email when he returned home Saturday night after knocking on doors for his city council campaign. I will do everything in my power to see you never get elected to any higher office than dog catcher. Yeah! Get him! Get him! Stupid city council. They think they're so fucking cool and smart and important. You ain't shit. You're not even a representative. You're not even on the school board. You're a city council. Piss off. Woothridge wrote in his email to Mano, I hate you. I hate your family. I hate your solicitors. I hate your contributors. I hate your sponsors. Kindly die and go to hell, motherfucker. Oh my gosh. This guy knows exactly how to handle this. I hate you. I hate everybody you've ever met. I hate your dog washer. I hate your car washer. I hate your car dogger. I hate your yard jogger. I hate you. I hate everything you got. I hate you. Die! 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 Leave me alone! I just want to sleep! Trying to sleep! Woothridge issued an apology about the fire email late Tuesday afternoon. Last Saturday, I was awakened from a nap and reacted with undue anger, based solely on the interruption to my tranquility. A man's tranquility is sacred. Don't mess with a man's tranquility. Since then, I have regretted the ferocity and language of that email. My words were uncivil and unprofessional. Nope. Nope. You were right. You were correct. Look. You want to come knocking on doors in the middle of nap time, walking around going to elect me for city council? You want to do that? Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. He found out. You do not mess with a man's sleep. You take that risk every time you knock on a door. Rayona 1868 says, gotta say, this past week, it's been fun watching your videos live. Last week, I spent over 40 plus hours in a hospital trying to induce labor. Now I'm awake all night with a newborn. Thanks for the entertainment. Oh, thank you. Congratulations on the baby. Congratulations. For me personally, I apologize to Salt Lake City Councilman Darren Mano and his family. I never wished harm to Mr. Mano, his family, or anyone associated with him. I do. No parent, spouse, or child should be subjected to such emotional outbursts. I am deeply sorry, he said. Mano, who was appointed to fill the vacancy left by Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall in January 2020, will be on the ballot for the first time in November. While he accepted the apology, Mano said Woodridge had yet to reach out to him or his team about the email. It was an inappropriate response, particularly from a public official, he said. This is why you don't want to be an assistant attorney general, right? If you're just a defense attorney, no one can say shit. Like, oh man, that guy's an asshole. It's like, well, yeah, he's a defense attorney. Woothridge did not immediately respond. Mano said he felt obligated to publicly share the email because of the rise in hate crimes against Asian American communities across the country. No, you didn't. God damn it. Why lie? Why are they lying? You knew it would be good for your campaign. That's why you did it. That's why you shared it. Stop lying. God, this guy has the high ground, and he throws it right off the fucking roof. Like it's in Iran or something. It had nothing to do with you being Asian. Had nothing to do with being a hate crime. Guy's just pissed that you bothered him at his house while he's trying to take a nap. I know this feeling. I get the same thing. Don't come to my house. If you have an appointment, it's in the afternoon. It's not while I'm sleeping. We're going to discuss this. Don't. In a Facebook post, Mano wrote, as an Asian American and member of the LGBTQ plus community. Well, there it is. There it is. All your victim are belong to us. Done. Done. I must stand up against hate speech and call it out when I see it. Here's Mano and his husband. Mano acknowledged that the email didn't name or target his identity, but said it felt personal because Woothridge mentioned his family, who was shown on the flyer left at the prosecutor's home. In photos on the flyer, the council member said he is a person of color and can be seen in photos with his partner and 4 children. It's always gonna be. That's the reason. It's not because the guy was literally just pissed that you showed up at his house. It's gotta be because you're gay and Asian. Gaysian. In his initial email, Woothridge said he had an unwanted solicitation sign on his door. Mano said he saw the sign but clarified that solicitation and campaigning are not the same thing. Oh, yes. Okay. Even better. On the door. Fuck off is on the door. Well, I'm going to campaign here anyway. After all, I'm an Asian LGBTQ POC plus AAIRP. You know, this person doesn't want salesmen showing up. He probably wants politicians, though. Get out. Our understanding of the law is that campaigning is protected under the First Amendment. That's why we were particularly shocked, because one would think that the Assistant Attorney General would know the difference. He said, he's not the government trying to prevent you from campaigning. He's just a guy that says, leave me alone on the door of the house that you acknowledge you saw. You saw the sign on the door. It says, leave me alone. In no particular shortness of words there. No solicitation. Oh, I know solicitation and campaigning are different. There's a legal distinction there. The man doesn't want to be bothered. Period. That's all. I don't want to be bothered. And you acknowledge, you looked at the sign, you thought, no, it'll be a good idea to bother this person who doesn't want it. Surely they'll want to vote for me. Fucking hell. You want me to check Jersh? Hey. This is uncalled for, Joshua Moon. Look at this. He says, this scuffed British version of Nick Rekieta is threatening me with a lawsuit. I am way better looking than this guy. Oh, my God. Like, I'm not out here tooting my own horn or anything, but Jesus, give me a little credit. Look at that fucking dude. It's kind of close, though. It's kind of close. My nose is bigger. Other than the nose being a tad smaller. How embarrassing. Oh, man. Terrible. Terrible. Oh, so here we go. Wait, fuck. Here we are. In his statement, Woothridge sent Mano his best wishes. I am taking steps to examine my reaction and find ways to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. Stop apologizing. Your reaction was correct. Mano added he holds no bitter feelings towards the prosecutor and hopes he can learn from this experience. Oh, that's when you send the follow-up email saying, I meant it, you piece of garbage. When anybody who says this, ever, this is the language. This is the language of the perpetually oppressed. This is what fucking makes me so mad. This is worse than everything else. It's not, I don't care if people are LGBTQ plus or whatever. I don't care what your victim credentials are. I don't care about your labels, your pronouns, whatever. Whatever you want to do, I'm fine. I don't care. You ever tell me, look, I hope you can just learn from this. I will send a follow-up doubling down. Fuck you. Get bent. Oh, this is way worse than any status anybody has, but this is the lexicon of the left. And this is what I hate this more about the left than anything else. It's their cocksure, pious, haughty attitude about everything. It's every kid who's like telling their parents, I'm just trying to educate you about my issues? No, you're not. You're trying to be a bitch. That's what you're trying to do. No, you're just not wanting to learn. No, fuck you. Die. Die. Nobody wants to hear it from you. Shut up. Stop this. It's all this. You can learn. You can learn. You can learn. No, 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 I can't. I don't want to learn. Your lessons are stupid. They're not worth learning. Stop it. The best possible outcome is for everyone who hears this story to just remember that we need to treat each other with kindness and respect, regardless of our identities. Here's the thing, though. You didn't. You didn't. At the outset, there's a sign on the door that effectively says, if you are not invited here, leave me alone. That's what it says. That's what no solicitation basically means in concept. It says, leave me alone. You didn't respect that. You said, well, I'm campaigning. I'm very important. Next, hoping that he can learn from this experience is not respect either. It's abject disrespect. Abject disrespect. God, this is the attitude and shit that's been going on today that really pisses me off. It's this stuff that really gets to me. Gosh, I hate the attitudes people have. You know why? Is because nobody's punching anybody in the face. Nobody's punching anyone in the face anymore. Let's talk about one more story. And then I'm probably going to do a follow-up video on this tomorrow. But Jason Alator says, oh my God, Nick's evil or good twin. I just hate gay Asians. No, fine with gay Asians. Here we go. Greg Abbott. I did a video sort of about this today. Not this subject, but other things. Greg Abbott is trying to regain his political capital as fast as possible. As fast as possible. He knows that he fucked up with the COVID stuff. But here we go. Texas GOP governor signs permit-free gun carrying legislation. Texas is the next state to say, yep, constitutional carry. Constitutional carry. I'm not saying Texas needs to keep Abbott. I'm just saying that's what Abbott's trying to do. Texans will soon be able to carry handguns in public without obtaining licenses or training after the state's Republican governor on Wednesday signed a permitless gun carry gun bill into law. Measure approved by Governor Greg Abbott allows individuals 21 and older who can legally possess firearms in the state to carry handguns in public places without permits. Legislation is set to go into effect in September. In signing it into law, Texas joins a handful of other conservative-led states that have passed measures this year allowing some form of permitless carry and expanded gun rights at the state level. Democrats and some law enforcement officials in the state say the bill eliminates mandatory firearms training that helps protect the public and also makes it more difficult to determine who is unlawfully carrying a weapon. I would love data on this. I would love data that mandatory firearms training has actually made anybody safe ever. Now, I frankly believe that people should do some level of training with their gun. I don't know that it has to be formal. It could be a family member. Lots of people learn how to use guns safely in all sorts of ways. But I would love to see where mandatory training somehow has data behind making places safer. Because right now, it's just a tax on exercising your right. Like if you said you need to have mandatory abortion training before having one, the Supreme Court would strike it down in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. The Supreme Court would say, whoa, 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 whoa. Mandatory abortion training? No, no, no. That is an impermissible bar. Especially that, let's say that abortion training, one, you have to apply for a permit with the sheriff, which costs like $100. Then you have to schedule a class from a private group, a class approved by the state to allow you to take abortion training, which also is going to cost more than $100, probably $200 to $500, depending on the class. And then you have to bring your own tools along with it. Like imagine if just to get an abortion, prior to paying for the abortion itself, you had to pay for $700 up front just for training to allow you to get the abortion. Then you had to pay for the abortion when you went in the store. There's no way the Supreme Court would allow this. There's no way. This would be banned tomorrow. But this is the gun debate. This is how it goes. And also, it also makes it more difficult to determine who is unlawfully carrying a weapon. No, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. Like, how does it make it more difficult? Somebody explain to me how it got more difficult to determine if someone is unlawfully carrying a weapon. It actually got less difficult because it's presumptively lawful to carry a weapon if you're over 21. Done. It's much easier now to know if they're unlawfully carrying or not. You know that they're probably lawfully carrying. You don't have to worry about if they have their appropriate carry card, if they have it on them, if it's been renewed, if it's been updated, if it's legit, if it's whatever. You don't have to do any of that. You go, oh, okay. If they're not prohibited from carrying, then they're permitted to carry at all times. So another lie of this story. That's nice. CNN has reached out to the governor's office for comment on the legislation. Abbott has indicated earlier this year that he would sign the bill, telling WBAP in April, I support it and believe it should reach my desk and we should have constitutional carry in Texas. Republican supporters of the permitless carry bill, who often refer to it as constitutional carry, argue that by removing the licensing requirement, they are removing an artificial barrier to residents' rights to bear arms and ensuring more Texans have access to personal protection in public. Texas already allows citizens to carry rifles openly without licenses. Under current Texas law, residents must have licenses to carry open or concealed handguns. Part of the licensing process, residents must submit a fingerprint, undergo a background check, participate in a training course, and pass a shooting proficiency test. Again, imagine if that was attached to literally any other right, written or unwritten. CNN previously reported that 5 other states, Iowa, Tennessee, Montana, Utah, and Wyoming, have passed legislation allowing some form of permitless carry this year. So there you go. You no longer have to do this process. But again, imagine having to do this to get a Twitter account. Well, if you want to have a Twitter account, you got to have a fingerprint online with a government database. You have to undergo a background check. You have to participate in a training course on how to properly use your speech, and you have to pass a typing proficiency test. It would never fly. And again, abortion is not an enumerated right. Abortion is a fiction created by a court. The right to an abortion is a fiction created by the court, derived from some ideas about how some other rights work. And if you did this for an abortion, it would be unlawful. It would be unconstitutional. And I'm tired of that. Personally, I'm tired of it. Tired of the double standard on the Second Amendment. Second Amendment is disfavored by the courts, by the country, and it's really, really infuriating. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and do chats and wrap up this show. Oh, goodness. We will be on Twitch tonight to do a movie night. It is movie night tonight. And I'm not sure exactly what movie it will be, but it will be good. Just trust. Trust the plan. It'll be a good movie. All right, here we go. Mario Carter 13 says, roses are red, feds glow in the dark. If you see one, shift out of park. There you go. There's that one. Crusader Saracen says, so is your dad's schnoz as big as yours? I guess we'll find out. I guess you will. I guess you will. Crusader Saracen says, Vic is coming on. Oh, shit. Shadows King says, Vic is coming on the show. Dear God, the hoes are going to go nuclear. Stay fat. Stay mad, bitches. Also, good job staying in theme and getting Vic in time for Pride Month. We're going to have some questions about those pants. Malik Foxon says, conversely, came from Vic, stayed for Nick. Keep it up, Boomer. Hey, thanks, buddy. Kay says, how does BLM like Ronnie? If they can support and make people like Jacob Blake, the Kenosha Father of the Year millionaires, they must be rioting for this scumbag. By the way, YouTube is censoring Jacob Blake from Super Chats. We China now, boys. Kidda says, forget the Fuda question. I want Vic to confirm or deny a fat female anime fan wanted him to sign her gay incest child porn fan comic. Fan art of Full Metal Alchemist brothers cornholing each other story. Well, you'll have to ask. You'll have to ask. Oh yeah, if you weren't here earlier, the big announcement for tonight is that 1 week from today, Vic Mignogna will be on this show for the tell-all interview. So, there you go. 1 week from Wednesday. So Wednesday of next week. Cross McNoll says, Nick, with the world being what it is now, where you can't really rise above your station and can't hope to find a partner to share the burden with, then what's the point in life now? God has given me a Job-like test, and I don't think any of us can pass it. What do you mean you can't rise above your station and can't find a partner? I don't believe either of those statements are true. May feel like that from time to time. But I don't know. I don't know that those are true statements. Mario Carter 13 says, I can already hear the producer tags for the prison mixtape. Oh my God, Ronnie, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. Next. Senan Farouk says, Earlobe Druid, long time no super chat. I've been fighting addiction and getting help. Good. Under First Amendment and no longer employed. Can I tell HR rep to go duck herself? You can. I don't know if you want to, but sure. Sure you can. Dex Luther says the major problem is that everyone else is here. So after watching your video, they come back here to watch something else, and then because they are already here, they stay here. Oh, I see what you're saying. Theophrastus says, if you question the audits, it's because you suspect they will not show Biden won. Therefore, you are doubting the veracity of the election. Maybe. Akikama says, Cass was kicked from your Discord 11 days before his local sub expired. How is this not a scam? I wasn't aware of this at all. Let me know. We'll get it fixed. That stuff is usually a mix-up of some sort if something like that happens. JD says, is there any hope left for the country, Nick? Yeah, I'm an optimist. Flatfoot74 says, update out of Alachua County, Florida. New study shows masks are petri dishes for dangerous pathogens. Proof what impact our group of pissed off parents can have on our community and the state. So there you go. That's apparently from Alachua County, Florida. You'll have to verify that on your own. I don't know anything about it. 200 Watt Studio says, Nick, you should do the Vic interview live stream entirely in your Lemoyne voice. Maybe Vic and I can do impression offs or something. Basement Troll Production says, absolutely awesome that Vic will be your guest next week. Do you think Vic will be open to the idea of viewer questions via Super Chats? Oh, yeah. Yes. That is part of the show. He knows the score on this. 200 Watt Studio says, Your Honor, permission to treat the defense as hostile. 200 Watt Studio says, Ronnie's kid. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Where should I send the card? San Quentin? Damn. Cold. Carapapas says, do you know if Ron has a criminal record? Wait, that's a dumb question. Do you know how long his rap sheet is, Nick? I do not. I don't know anything about Ronnie O'Neal. I'm going to say Alachua. I don't care about your Alachua garbage. 200 Watt Studio says, Nick, get this hot judge on stream after the trial. No way. Judges will not come on the show. They can't. Can't make public statements about these types of issues. Carapapa says, really goes to show how jaded you people and judges are. You think this guy defending himself for a double murder trial is boring. It was just slow today. It was just slow. He had a lot of pauses going on, and it's just a little slower than someone who's used to doing it is. That's all. The Christian Nomad says, every time the kid tells a story, it's different. Mulviard says, I would say Ronnie did better than Melinda Scott. Oh, yeah. Steven says, we should start a fund to make Ronnie a super lawyer, before he gets the chair. There's always hope for Ronnie, I guess. Edward Creed says, we're transferring power from Washington, D.C. We give it back to you, the people. It's a shitty Bane voice, but that's what he wanted. And then he says, as Obi-Wan, it's over, politicians! I have the high ground! Not applicable says, as a born and bred pussy, I have to cry like a bee. Bad Dragonite says, take the city council pamphlet, bigot. Sinan Farouk says, earlobe druid, edit to old chat. I didn't get fired. Oh, that's good. That's good. Not applicable says, it's true for a lot of people, unfortunately. Crackbot says, did you hear about the FBI fabricating evidence against a professor in order to spy on him? I did not. Sounds sexy. Sounds sexy. Persona Non Grata says, hey, Nick, awesome show tonight. As always, peace and love to you and your family. Can't wait to hear from Papa Ricada and Vic. Sinan Farouk says, as an Asian cock connoisseur, he can go duck himself. No one important says, yeah, Vic going to be here soon. Yes, 1 week, Wednesday night next week. I'm more excited about Ronversations coming back soon and more Fat Mad Twitter reviews, which will come from this. So there we go. And then finally, I think that's everything. That is it. Thank you guys for the wonderful show tonight. As always, thank you for showing up, for watching the short videos. I really appreciate it. I always hope to try and find subjects that you guys are interested in. And thanks for hanging out for the live streams. I have a ton of fun with them. So with that, I guess I'll see you on Twitch or tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace.
He drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the team post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the team post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have